Hello and welcome to another career strategy session with me, Latika Vines. I am so happy that you are here with me today. Today, I want to talk to you about telling your supervisor that you are overwhelmed, that your workload has reached capacity. But first, if this is your first time, I want to say welcome to Visionary Initiatives. I want to ask that you like and subscribe to our channel so you can be notified when I post another video. And if this is your second or third or fourth or fifth, you're returning to another career strategy session, I just want to say thank you for joining me again. So let's talk about telling your supervisor that you're overwhelmed, that you have a workload that has reached your capacity. First and foremost, I want to tell you to be honest with yourself. So if you recognize that you have a workload that has reached capacity, that is too heavy, you need to stop and assess. Analyze what it is you're doing, how you're doing. Look at your time management skills. What are you doing? Are you coming into work? Do you have a mission for that day? Do you have top 3 or 5 things that you need to accomplish for the day? Do you have the top 10 things that you need to accomplish for the week? Really assess what you are doing and how you are doing your time before you go any further. Because you assessing your time and your task, prioritizing things first, will really help you to be honest with yourself before you have that conversation with your supervisor. So the main thing of being honest with yourself is making sure that when you assess your time, how you're managing your time to accomplish one task at a time, you want to make sure that you analyze exactly what it takes for you to complete a project at 100%. And what I mean by that is making sure that the product that you produce, that you give to your supervisor, is not flawed. That you complete it on time, that you don't have errors, that it is not flawed, that it is at 100%. So your supervisor does not have to come back and say, you need to change this, you need to edit this, or start over again. This is not what I'm looking for. So really assess what you are doing. And that also entails making sure that when you receive a task from your supervisor, one, make sure it's in writing because you always have something to refer to. So even if your supervisor comes to you and says, hey, I need you to accomplish this, make sure you go back to your supervisor in an email and say, I just want to make sure that I'm following up or confirming what you have tasked me with so I can make sure it meets your needs, what you desire. That way your supervisor will know that you're tracking, that you're paying attention, and that you really honestly want to make sure that you give your best, your 100% in this product. The second thing, so the first thing is to be honest with yourself. And I also want to say that as soon as you feel that your workload is heavy, that you've reached capacity, stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing and don't go any further. Because if you go further and you push yourself saying, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, your supervisor is going to look at you when you come to them and say, but you've been doing this all along. Why are you now just coming to me? So as soon as you feel that pressure, that your workload is heavy, it's reached capacity, stop what you're doing and let's go on to the next one. And the next point is to seek a mentor. So seek advice. And I'm going to say this, seek advice from a mentor, seek advice from another supervisor, seek advice from someone who is trustworthy, whether it's in the organization or agency that you work for or outside. But very rarely, or it's not recommended that you speak to your colleagues. And I'm talking about your teammates because sometimes that can bite you in the butt. So you want to speak to someone who is trustworthy and can give you the sound counsel you need to approach your supervisor. Because you don't want to go to your supervisor just saying, hey, I've reached capacity, I can't take anymore. You want to actually have a plan. You want to have a strategy of how to have this conversation with your supervisor and have a resolution, when you go to approach your supervisor. You don't want to just go in there and say, I've reached capacity, I can't take it anymore. You really want to have a strategy. And so that's why I recommend that you seek a mentor, seek advice from someone who's maybe in a supervisory position, someone you trust, a mentor, a coach, someone who really will give you that sound counsel. Now, some of your colleagues, some of your teammates may be able to give you that sound counsel, but it's best to be with someone who is in a supervisory position, been in a supervisory position, but can give you that sound counsel of what to say to your supervisor when you have reached full capacity in your workload. Third is schedule your meeting with your supervisor and have that meeting. And when you meet with your supervisor, make sure that you bring with you a list of all of your tasks. So I'm really big in having a planner, and each week on Sunday or Monday, I go through my planner and write down what I need to do for the week and then what I need to do each day. So make sure you bring that with you to your meeting with your supervisor, so your supervisor knows exactly what you are doing and where your time is being spent. You can also, when you meet with your supervisor and you tell them where your time is and how you just can't take on more work at the moment, you can say, but I recommend that this colleague or this teammate perform this new task until I'm finished with this, or assign them that project because I feel that their skills would be better utilized in this project than mine, or have your colleague be recommended for a new project because it's going to help your colleague, of course, because you're going to go into a new project, a new assignment, but also it's going to show that you're a team player. It's not just about you, and you are for making sure that the work is done. Not that you necessarily are doing the work, but that the work is done. And that is very key. Also, you want to make sure that you are grateful, that you're thankful for what you have and what you can do, what you have done thus far with your task, your assignments, your projects that you have received from your supervisor. And then another thing too is when you're having that conversation, maybe have your boss prioritize and say, hey, these are my priorities. Do these match your priorities? Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that the work is completed right. I want to give my 100%, my best to the product, and not just give you something because I'm supposed to meet this deadline. So have your boss prioritize your task, and that might be able to help you lighten your workload, because you know exactly now what is more important. Because honestly, if everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. So it's very important that you have that prioritized list from your supervisor. You guys work together. But I will say that your supervisor is not your enemy. And let me clarify, not all supervisors are your enemies. There are a lot of great leaders who are supervisors who really want to make sure that you succeed and make sure that the organization or agency succeed. And as long as you two, you and your supervisor, have that understanding that the both of you just want the organization to succeed, and you're going to do whatever it is possible to give your best, to give your 100% to do so, your relationship is going to be so much better, and it probably will help you, and it probably will keep you motivated to do more, to do better in that position. But just recognize that when you have that open communication with your supervisor, life gets a lot easier. It does get a lot easier. So I definitely recommend that you just be honest with yourself and be honest with your supervisor, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're not perfect. And we cannot expect perfection from imperfect people. We just cannot. But you can do your best. You can do your 100%, whatever that means. But having that open communication, that honesty with your supervisor will help you whether your workload is full or not. So I hope that these tips really helped you when it's time for you to have that conversation with your supervisor that your workload is heavy or it's reached capacity. And I want to say that, again, as soon as you feel that you are overwhelmed, that your workload is full, that you reach capacity, that you speak to your supervisor immediately. Do not let the feelings linger on, because those feelings will turn emotional. You'll be frustrated. You'll be even more overwhelmed. You'll be stressed out. And that is not good when you are trying to come into the office and do your best, do your 100% best. So it's so important that you're honest with yourself first and then honest with your supervisor. So again, I just want to thank you for joining me for another career strategy session. And I hope that these tips truly help you when you feel that your workload has reached capacity, that you're full, that is heavy, that you be honest with yourself and go to your supervisor. Be honest. You guys can prioritize and really be successful. Well, until next time, you take care and have a wonderful day.